Hello, my fellow broke aristocrats, and thanks for joining me today. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about some confusion I've been getting some feedback about regarding frugality versus poverty, and being a frugal person versus a person who has a poverty mentality. So I want to just spend a few minutes making some clarifications for people, and then I'm open to welcoming feedback. So a couple definitions. First, frugality. Frugality is a lifestyle of living very simply, living below your means so that there is always enough. If you are bringing in $1, but you're only spending 60 cents, then you would have a surplus of 40 cents. So the idea of being frugal is pretty simple. You live below your means, and then you always live with a surplus. Now, what you do with that surplus is entirely up to you. You may choose to use that surplus to invest it, right? Because money can make money. So you take that 40 cents and then you reinvest it into various different things that then go on to make more money. Then you take a portion of that and reinvest it. And this is the snowball effect of profits, where a certain percentage of your money from your profits goes back to reinvesting into companies or your business so that you can make even more money. We don't really get into that a lot into the frugal community, but I think if you're somebody who's living frugal with an intent to have greater wealth down the road, that's a legitimate model to think about. So that is, in a nutshell, frugality. Frugality, objectively speaking, is you live below your means so that you have excuse me, so that you have resources. But more, I think more important than that is an aspect of frugality of simple living, where you find out what's important to you, not because you're trying to suffer, not because there's something wrong with having things, not because there's something wrong with wealth. I don't think there's anything objectively wrong with any of those things. The reason that you live simply, if you're a minimalist, is so that you will have less stress. The idea being that if your attention is on lots of things, it can actually cause stress. The new couch that Whimsy bought a couple months back, I was very happy with my couch. It was an expensive couch. I designed it myself. I brought it into the house, and now it's a source of incredible stress every time my cat Mila starts to claw at it. So the thing that I put all that money in, that possession, has become nice, but it's also become a source of stress. So minimalism is about living a simple life in order to alleviate stress. When you combine frugality with minimalism, you have even less stress because you've got financial resources, and you're not cluttering your life with a bunch of stuff and your mind with a bunch of stuff that's going to cause stress. So consequently, you're liberated. You can then use your mind and use your time to pursue theoretically the things that actually matter to you. For example, being an artist, if that is what you are called to do. By living simply and frugally, and by making those sacrifices, you now have the time and the freedom to pursue the music or the art that you love. A poverty mentality is something very different. To be poor is something very, very different. To be poor is the exact opposite, in the sense that to be poor is when you really do not have enough. To be poor is to bring in $100, but your bills are, say, $150. Your basic needs are not being met by the income and resources that you have. That is the best definition of poverty. If you cannot pay the rent for a decent place to live, if you cannot afford proper food and nutrition, if you cannot pay your medical cost, then those would all be examples of poverty. Now I want to switch over to a poverty mentality. A poverty mentality can sometimes happen when we grow up extremely poor and we are told throughout our lives that we are not entitled to certain things because we are poor. I'll give you a personal example from my own Crimea River sad childhood. When I was very, very young, the thing that I wanted more than anything in the world was ballet lessons. I wanted to be a ballerina so bad that I used to stand on my tippy toes, and I actually created a few problems for myself because that's really not very healthy. So little Whimsy, 5 years old, was walking around on her tippy toes because she wanted to be a ballerina so badly. And that was the first time in my life where I saw that you can have a dream and you're not going to get your dream, particularly if somebody else is responsible for making those decisions. So as the years would go by, I would keep asking my parents for ballet lessons, and they would put it off, or they would ignore me, or they would become angry. And then when I got older, it dawned on me that I was never going to be able to take those ballerina lessons. And it created a real profound sadness, a really palpable sadness, because I truly wanted to learn how to dance. I really wanted to be a dancer, so much so that it was really painful to even watch the ballet. It became a source of pain because it was something that as a child I wanted so badly. So that is poverty. Poverty is when you're saying no even to the things that you really want, the things that feed your soul, or even your most basic needs. But I would add to that the things that feed your soul, the things that bring you joy. Life is about more than just four walls. There's more to being human than just paying our bills, paying the rent, saving for a rainy day, saying no all the time. You can't do this, you can't do that because you cannot afford it. No, little Timmy, you can't join the Boy Scouts, we don't have enough money. That is poverty, and that is also the poverty mentality, where you begin to believe that you are not worthy, that everyone else is entitled to these things but you. You begin denying yourself certain things because of a sense of shame or unworthiness. These are all part of the deep wound of the poverty mentality that can sometimes happen when we grow up with extreme poverty. And it's something we have to heal. You know, it's something that we heal slowly over time. It's one of those things where, you know, I should take myself to the ballet and I should enjoy the ballet, or I should enroll in a ballet class at 55 if it makes me happy. I just have to, as a frugal person, budget for it. So frugality gives us choices. Frugality gives us the resources to be able to build budgets that are workable and to find out what it really means to us to be happy, and to pursue whatever in life you want to pursue that makes you happy. The only caveat I would say as a broke aristocrats is we say, fundamentally, we want people to be happy, not in a way that's superficial, but there's relative and absolute happiness. We've talked about this in the past. Relative is, you know, you've got money today, you're going to be happy. Broke tomorrow, you're going to be unhappy. That's relative happiness. Happiness that we promote on Broke Aristocrats is a kind of spiritual happiness that's called absolute happiness, where it comes from a very deep part of ourselves when we live honest, authentic lives. And so saying that to somebody who's struggling with these concepts, you know, poverty versus frugality, poverty mindset versus, you know, I really just want to live a simple life because I'm happier that way. Those are all things we grapple with. I think my advice to you is the same advice I would give myself, and that is, as long as the pursuit of your happiness takes into consideration the common good, that you can see that pursuit bringing a goodness into the world in some capacity, then I think you should go for it, whatever that happens to be. And if you find that you are denying yourself the things that make you happy, then that also has to be looked at. You know, do you need to take a part-time job for an extra $100, $200 a month, you know, so that you can pay for those ice skating lessons, so that you can, you know, give your son that opportunity to join the Cub Scouts if that's what he wants to do. The ability to be fluid, the ability to really look at ourselves and ask ourselves, you know, why are we doing these things? Why are we frugal? Because far too often, I see in the frugal community, there's a lot of strictness. No, you can't, no, you can't, rice and beans. And it's a source of incredible unhappiness for people. I see a lot of depression at both, you know, myself when I've been struggling with these concepts, but I also see it in other people in the frugal community. And life is too short. And I think that wanting to be happy is definitely an important part of being human. So I just wanted to get that out because I think it's an important conversation for us to have in the frugal community. What do you want? What do you need in order to be happy? And that we not feel shame about the fact that we want more. And to not feel that having more is something bad, or having more money or having more resources is bad. None of those things are bad. The only reason we bring up minimalism and frugality here on Broke Aristocrats is so that people not stress about money, and so they not stress about things that take them away from what they value or what they want to achieve most. Okay, so that basically wraps up this quick video from Broke Aristocrats. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Be sure and share, like, subscribe. Tell me what you're doing to take care of yourself and how you're doing, how you're holding up with all these concepts, and how do you grapple and struggle with the ideas of poverty versus frugality. And do you sometimes feel that you use frugality as a way of self-deprecation or denying yourself certain things that would make you happy? All right, thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.